So free agency just flipped the fantasy football landscape upside down, and if you're playing it like everyone else, chasing the obvious winners, you're already behind. Because the real edge is buying the players the market isn't fully sold on yet. And in today's video, we're breaking down 5 players you should be targeting for right now. These are the guys whose values still haven't fully caught up to their situations yet. And more importantly, I'll tell you exactly what you should be willing to give up to get them. So let's check it out. So let's start with one of the most disrespected assets in fantasy football, and that's David Montgomery, running back of the Houston Texans. Every year this guy produces, and every year fantasy managers doubt him. Montgomery thrives in the exact areas that matter most: goal line carries, short yardage work, and high value touches. Now, the Texans might bring in some depth and competition via free agency or the draft, but Montgomery's role is safe. Coaches trust him when it matters the most. And that means touchdowns, and touchdowns mean weekly RB2 production with RB1 upside. I think it's safe to say Montgomery will be the number 1 back in Houston this year. Not that Woody Marks is going to disappear or anything, but they did trade up to get him. But I see Marks more as a change of pace back this year, or maybe more of a receiving back. You don't trade Montgomery just for him to ride the bench. Look for Monty to be a top 12 running back this year, especially if he can stay healthy. Now, to get Monty, you're most likely going to have to give up a mid to late second round pick, maybe a hype running back who hasn't, really proven anything yet, like maybe like a Tony Pollard, or a package type of deal of like a wide receiver 3 and a running back 3, like maybe Jacoby Myers and a Krosky Merritt. If you're contending, this is the type of move that stabilizes your lineup immediately. So look to get Monty on your team. He shouldn't be too expensive, and he can definitely help you on your march to the championship. Next up, we're going to have Jaylen Waddle, wide receiver of the Denver Broncos, and this is where things start to get interesting. Waddle is one of the most explosive receivers in the league. He runs, I think, a 4.37 if I remember correctly. He doesn't need volume to produce. He just needs opportunities. And even in games where he's not getting peppered with targets, he can still break a huge touchdown and bust your week wide open. Denver arguably had an above-average receiving core last year, and now with the addition of Waddle, they will be hovering in the elite receiving core status. If Bo Nix and Sean Payton can find a way to scheme Waddle open, you can have a monster season. I'd be looking to get Waddle on my squad ASAP. Now, the inconsistency can scare some people. Some managers hate the boomer bust type players, even when those players win weeks. But you know better, so take advantage of those situations and try to acquire Waddle from those nervous managers. You can probably get him for a safe wide receiver 2 who had a career year, someone like maybe like a Chris Olave. You can maybe get him for a late first round pick plus a small piece, or 2 solid starters with the lead upside, and someone with maybe like Javonte Williams and T. Higgins. No, this is a ceiling play, and in fantasy, ceiling players win championships, so don't be afraid and go after Jaylen Waddle. So let's talk about a tight end that could really explode this year, and that's Isiah Likely, tight end of the New York Giants. We've already seen huge flashes out of Likely as a Raven, and now that he's in New York, he can get real opportunities and can produce like a real difference maker. And at the tight end position, that could be a massive advantage. Harbaugh brought him in for a reason. He's a huge athletic freak with all the upside in the world. Doesn't hurt that Harbaugh's already familiar with him, and he already knows Harbaugh's schemes and terminology, so that's a huge advantage for Likely. Now, Theo Johnson will undoubtedly still have a huge part of the offense, but I can see Likely carving out a big piece of his own. With no guarantee that Neighbors will be ready for week 1, and Wan'Dale Robinson leaving via free agency, look for Likely to be involved early and often in the offense for the New York Giants. I think that Jackson Dart will be looking his way quite a bit. Now, most managers still see him as a backup or like a stash, and that's exactly why you got to get him now. You could probably get him for a low second round pick or a low end tight end 1 type of swap, like an AJ Barner or a Brenton Strange, or a couple of bench pieces. This is the type of move that wins you positional advantage and without paying elite prices. Now let's move to quarterback, and Kyler Murray of the Minnesota Vikings might be the best buy low in fantasy right now, especially in 2 QB leagues or superflex leagues. Dual threat quarterbacks are cheat codes, and Kyler Murray is still one of the best. His rushing alone gives him a weekly floor that most quarterbacks can only dream of. If free agency improves his offensive line or adds weapons, that could massively boost his efficiency and ceiling. Hopefully Jefferson sticks around and that O'Connell can guide him back to elite status. O'Connell has been touted as a QB guru, but JJ McCarthy has kind of thrown a wrench in that narrative. So look for O'Connell to try and right the ship and get Murray back to playing to his top potential. Injuries and team struggles have people hesitant on Murray, but hesitation is exactly what creates value. So don't break the bank getting Murray, but he's definitely worth a look. Depending on your format, you can get him for maybe a mid-tier QB swap. You can get him for a late first in a super flex league, or maybe a productive veteran with a sweetener, maybe like a Jared Goff and a Jacoby Myers. You're buying the upside at a discount, and that's exactly what you want a QB. Finally, we're going to have Mike Evans, wide receiver of the San Francisco 49ers, the most disrespected, consistent producer in fantasy football. Every single year, Evans delivers time and again. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. It doesn't matter what the narrative is. He produces touchdowns, yardage, and big plays. After free agency, if his situation stabilizes, he's locked into wide receiver 1 production with weekly winning upside. With Jennings leaving via free agency and George Kittle's status for week 1 up in the air, Evans has a huge opportunity to be a target hog for the 49ers. His only real competition is Ricky Pearsall, which doesn't scare me at all. McCaffrey will still get his usual amount of touches, but that leaves a big piece of the pie for Mike Evans to feast in. I see Purdy looking his way all day, especially in the red zone. So if you're contending and Evans is on the trading block, I would highly recommend going after him. With age bias being a thing, fantasy managers are always trying to get, younger, and they end up giving away elite production, for peanuts. So I would pounce if Evans is available. You can usually get Evans for a late first round pick, a young but unproven wide receiver, maybe like a Brian Thomas, or a flex, like 2 flex level players like DJ Moore and Jameson Williams. If you're competing, this is the easiest win now move you can make. Go get Mike Evans. He's going to definitely help you win the championship, especially if he can stay healthy. So those are my 5 guys that you need to trade for after free agency. David Montgomery is going to give you that reliability. Jaylen Waddle gives you that explosive upside. Isiah Likely gives you that breakout potential. Kyler Murray is going to give you that league-winning QB play, especially in 2 QB leagues. And Mike Evans gives you the proven production. So if you can land even just a couple of these guys at the right price, you're putting yourself in a great position to dominate your league this season. So if you enjoyed this video, guys, do me a huge favor, like and subscribe, drop a comment. Who are you targeting after free agency? I want to know who you guys are going after. And don't forget, we're still having that free contest. It's a free $50 entry into the next contract league on League Tycoon. It's super simple to enter, guys. All you got to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, put the word subscribed in the comment section. Then you're going to send me a screenshot either to my Gmail account or my X account. I'll get back to you, letting you know you've been entered into the contest. And then we're going to have a draw on August 1st to determine the lucky winner. And guys, if we get to 1,000 subscribers before August 1st, I will sponsor an entire league. So that's going to be 9 lucky winners plus myself in a 10-man league. So don't miss your chance, guys. And I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.